Morning contemplation. The we in me. So how we individuate. Telepathy, trance, mediumship, channeling, psychic, intuitive awareness. What else? Biolocation, remote viewing, astro projection, and anything else that I've missed. So many years ago, I did research through the sensorium lab. We called it telepathy research, but it was far more than that. And as we went through over that year, delving into ways of knowing, this is how I really honed my skills, because I was able to really unpack and research what I was experiencing and how that changed with different environments, different commands, different intentions. How when we viewed something at a certain time, or what we were picking up from the people that we may have been working with, researching with, and also them as the target, so to speak, for remote viewing and whatnot. I would be experiencing far more than what the methodology was saying. And so I questioned that, and I did my own research, on a sort of side research, because I was documenting all the other amazing potentialities that humanity has, that us little humans have. Okay, so I wanted to share this because in my work, so my business, I run different programs and we call them certain things. You may be a mystic or a intuitive or highly sensitive, or I don't know, what do you label what you do? So, part of my way of knowing, I'm a researcher, I'm an anthropologist, I've worked as a trauma therapist, a social worker, psychologist, visual artist, you name it. And all of this work came together in this research because we were looking through the creative process how we could find out more about how the human condition can be utilized, how we get our own information. And so, although I have nothing against reading tarot cards, oracles, going to mystics, mediums, psychics, did I say that? All the different ways that we have been taught that a reading would be, nothing against that, because, a lot of the times I run programs to teach you how to do that. Now, in saying that, if that's where you need to start, then that's where you need to start. But ultimately, and this is what the ladies in Ascend are learning, which is awakening spiritual consciousness, embodied neural development, Ascend. So we start with the end of Ascend by starting with the human, the physicality, the body and its systems to start with. and look at how yours works in relation to different information, okay? And, you know, you're taught and you're given tools to document that over time, and meditations and ways to get your own information based on what your body is holding and what your energy is holding. Although at the beginning we don't focus on the energy necessarily, but everything is energy. We focus on the beliefs and conditioning that have programmed you, encoded you to see the world and experience the world in a particular way. Now, when you believe that you can't get your own information and you're not a fully intelligent, you know, organism, then you will look outside for your information. And again, it's fun. There's nothing wrong with it necessarily. However, I do believe, and I will and have know that you can and you do get your own information. So it's just a matter of knowing and learning how to translate what you already get. So whether that's on a physicality level, physiologically, your body, and understanding what those sensations are telling you, or, you know, on the next level of intuition, intermediary, where we are looking at, well, if you're tapping in to something greater than what you think is your physicality, your body, your vessel, then how do you interpret, read, understand that data? And funnily enough, through my research and my own personal, you know, life as a mystic, you know, the similarities, you know, slap me in the face all the time. It's like, hello, hello, hello. It's the same process. Okay. So as a trauma, complex trauma specialist and a mystic and you know, advanced energy medicine practitioner and a master of metaphysics and the healing arts, right? I was seeing the same patterns. So of course I'm going to look at that. Of course I'm going to inquire and be curious about what that means for the human, for myself, my clients, and humanity. So I have taught intuitive studies. There's a program, Intuitive Studies, and it was over 12 months. And I ran 2 of those a year for many years. And that the outcomes of that was used for you know, seeing and showing the participants, right? They were able to see, feel, sense, know, taste, smell, touch, all the information and decode it, right? With a spiritual lens, okay? But what they didn't realize was, I guess what I'm telling you, that when we work on how to get your own information, you are actually healing yourself. And when you heal or wound weave, right, you're illuminating. So the IITT, or the IT method, my IT method, is illuminate, injury, transform, trauma. So injury is attachment injury. It's called attachment injury. So early childhood attachment, bonding, attunement. When that goes awry, and I believe I spoke about that on Tuesday in the live, so maybe go and have a look at that. I have a wealth of background in you know, human development, child development, but also intuitive development as a mystic and metaphysician. And, you know, navigating what would support the human and humanity individually and collectively. Okay, so that's a lot of information, I guess, to digest, but I'm just giving you a little window of, you know, when I say, oh, contemplation for the morning, there's so much in it, even though it's a very small piece or a vision. Okay, so back to this telepathy research that I did with my sensorium lab and some academics from Spain, and we were looking at not only trance, not only telepathy, we ended up going into remote viewing, biolocation, mediumship, and every other way of knowing, because as you start opening up, it all comes in. And as that happened, I started to document my personal experience, what I was seeing, sensing, feeling, knowing, tasting, smelling, and able to touch at a distance, right? So across the globe, with such accuracy. And then I started to pick up other information that wasn't necessarily part of the methodology. So I would question that. And then as time went on, I was asking the other researchers for more information to be able to know, you know, with my human mind, if this other information was also correct, even though it wasn't part of the methodology. And what we discovered was, so when I was given, you know, just say the object or the target to view, and I was getting so much more information, is it incorrect? Right? So there was part of me that wanted to know that answer. So we started to ask questions after, so doing the basic research and then asking these extended questions afterwards to learn what else. And I found that not only was I seeing what they were holding or what they were drawing, I also saw what was above them or behind them or around them. And you know, so the expandedness of that room, you know, and then the house, and then what's in the backyard, or what's in another room, what's just happened, or what's about to happen, but usually what's just happened. So, you know, smelling food, right? Or smelling a very strong sense of fresh baked bread. And is that in the room, or has that person just baked some bread or had bread or something about bread? Okay. And if I didn't ask the question, I wouldn't know. So I asked the question. Oh yes, I just got some fresh, you know, whatever bread it was and whatnot. Or spaghetti bolognese, right? Or seeing, you know, particular things that reference spaghetti bolognese. So this is adjunct to the actual research, which was the person who was being, you know, so the guinea pig, so to speak, would have an object and then would draw that object. And the viewer would then draw the same object without seeing it, without any contact, without, you know, being online together. We would just know at a certain time this was the person that was going to be the, I guess, the observer, and this person was going to be the participant. And then at a certain time afterwards, then we would swap notes and images and whatnot. So this went on and on and on, and we, you know,